welcome to the first ever episode of the first ever series of my first ever YouTube channel. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Today on The Singing Voice Explained, we are going to discuss the 5 things. My 5 things for how to view the voice in a way that you will improve your practice, your working on your repertoire, even your performing will improve if you view your singing through these 5 lenses. Now, to be fair, there is nothing that can replace a capable teacher, okay? Working one-on-one with someone who is knowledgeable about the voice and vocal practices and vocal health and will help you meet your objectives, that's critical, okay? That one-to-one feedback is the best way to grow as a musician. Now, is that a shameless plug for what it is that I do? Maybe, but here we are. Brought to you by... Realistically, though, the problem with singing and with self-teaching with singing is there is no accountability that you can rely on. Now, what do I mean by that? When we talk about singing versus other instruments, there is absolutely no way to perceive our voices as they exist in space after they leave our heads. So what oftentimes happens is younger singers will maintain all that sound in their head and it won't come out acoustically. That can't be trusted because it's not a reliable source. It's your sound then is in your meat, not out meeting the world. Okay, back to it. Singing really is truly one of the most complex things that one person can do. It hits on all of the senses. It is control of very primary, just you and all of you. Angelina Jolie just did a film about Maria Callas, and she said something to that effect, that singing opera was a full body experience. Now, we're not all singing opera. You're not singing opera. Maybe you are singing opera. I don't know. What I'm talking about here, though, are best practices for any kind of singing. So that's enough of that blathering. Let's get to the 5 things that you need to think about when you think about singing. Number 1, posture. I know. I sound like a grade school teacher. All right, whatever. Sit with your back straight. No, but what I want to talk about is posture in a way that will serve you in all situations, whether you're rehearsing, whether you are not doing anything musically related, and particularly then when you want to be a performer, when you want to perform. It is impossible to replicate a performance, but it is possible to replicate a process that when you get to that performance, you will be as prepared as you possibly can be, both physically and mentally. So we'll get into that. Posture benefits you in so many ways. Good posture is good for the circulatory system. It's good for the digestive tract. It's good for this and that and blah, blah, blah. Is it easy to do? No, but like anything, if you are conscientious of it, if you are mindful sometimes, and even just sometimes, you can start with that. Hey, once a day, you fix your posture once a day, fantastic. What do I mean by posture as it relates to singing? Well, there's going to be a whole video about that, probably dropping soon in the next few days. Maybe I'll give myself a 24-hour limit. I don't know. Check that video out for more about posture. Breath. Now, you have been breathing your entire life, but how well have you been breathing? That is the question. So when we're talking about breathing, we have to talk about breathing in a way that is different than speech. The percentages, and I'll get into that in another video, of use of the lungs and travel of the diaphragm between speaking and singing they're fundamentally different. So we'll dive into that in episode 3, which is number 2, breath. Number 3, phonation. Now, phonation is, at least as described here, phonation is the act of creating sound in the larynx. Okay? Oh, yes. Creating sound in the larynx. So, whether we're talking about the actions of the muscle or we're talking about the acoustical phenomena that happen because of that muscular movement. So whether it is a mechanical process or an acoustical process, we'll dive into that a little bit more in episode 4, which is number 3. Getting the hang of this. Phonation. Number 4. This is a two-parter. Well, it's not really. Number 4 and number 5 are related. Number 4, resonance. What do I mean by resonance? Resonance is talking about what happens after we create the sound during phonation. Okay, so, oh, this is nice, actually. Little scratch. Okay, we're off topic again. Here we go. So, after we create the sound here in the larynx, what happens to that sound? How can we shape the vocal tract to maximize certain frequencies, maximize our sort of dynamic output? Okay, that's what we're talking about when we talk about resonance, okay? That is number 4, which will be episode 5, I believe. Okay, great. That brings us to number 5, and this is the last one of the vocal processes. I'm going to go back. It is number 1, posture. It's number 2, breath. It's number 3, phonation. It's number 4, resonance. And ding, 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 oh my goodness, we made it to number 5. Thank you for staying with me. Don't know why I'm holding the back scratcher still. Okay, number 5, diction. Now, diction is what I would like to talk about as the articulators, okay? Is that an ERS or an ORS? Articulator. Okay, see, there's the problem, right? So, when we're talking about the vocal process and shaping sound past where we've created it, I had already said number 4, ding ding, episode 5, is resonance, okay? So there's a shaping and a process to that back here that we got to talk about sometimes for some singers as it relates to postnasality, any sort of leakage into the nasopharynx, okay? These are the kind of things that we'll dive into in the resonance episode. For the diction episode, though, we're talking about the articulators, and that would be the lips, the teeth, and the tongue. The tongue is disgusting. It's a necessary part of the process, but it is repulsive. It's kind of like my dog Loki. It's your best friend and your worst nightmare. So, in episode 5, episode 6, number 5, I will be discussing diction and how we can view diction in a way that is useful to us. And we'll include some fun activities. So hopefully you've made it this far. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The more of these I make and the more that you watch them, the more I'm emboldened to do more, and I feel like that's really cool. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. If you'd like me to talk about any sort of part about the vocal process as it would fit in the Singing Voice Explained, please drop it in the comments. If you have any of some comments or anything else or whatever, I don't know, YouTube stuff. This is exhausting. Hey, I'll see you at episode 2, number 1, posture. We did it.